Hey everyone, we're just gonna do a quick bookkeeping tutorial using our shared Google spreadsheet. So this is just going to be a quick tutorial on how to enter in what you've purchased and then run through what the bookkeeper will probably end up doing for you. So this is not the long-term bookkeeping solution we're aiming for down the road. Um, say in 3 to 5 months, once you're making um, solid profits, we're going to highly encourage you to switch to QuickBooks Online and this bookkeeping automation software called Entrywise, but that is going to run about $100 a month. So we don't want to force you to do that until you see that you're making money. But until then, this is going to be the best way to run the bookkeeping, see how much money you're making, see if you're growing, see how many profits, how much profits you're making, tracking your expenses, etc. So I'm just going to run through entering some purchases and just a couple points about the optimal way to do everything. So this is just the first tab. There's not much on it, but the green areas are data that you will be entering because it's mostly related to either expenses you incurred outside Amazon or it's just the purchases you made. These cells are the bookkeeper um, data entry points where mostly it'll just be like pulling from your sales report and she'll be like doing all those calculations for you. The yellow, there's a couple different shades of yellow, but it's basically just equation cells that are just helping do the math. So I already entered a couple things. So if you go to the inventory tab, you can see I entered 10 variants of Nike Free RN 2018. You can see women's, black, a couple different sizes. I just chose a bunch of different ones because this would kind of be a fairly common scenario for everyone. Go to a Nike store, buy some shoes, and here's the pricing for all of them. Here's the purchase date. Here's where it came from. This is probably the least important part. It's actually probably more for you, where if you want to remember where you purchased something, it's good to have the store name. So as you can see, I priced them all at 39.99. What you also need to remember is that um, making sure you include your tax somewhere in your data entry. So if I would have paid for all of these, there'd be 5% tax added on somewhere. You can either divide it out evenly between all your purchases or um, tack it on to one. Obviously, if the cleaner you divide it out, the like less bumpy your numbers will look. But to be honest, it's not going to make that much of a difference either way. So also you can see this cell right here is actually summing up the entire value of your current inventory. So that way you can tell kind of what going forward, like what your inventory is worth. So if your credit card statement says it's got like $1,000 on there, you can see that you probably have $1,500 of inventory. So you know your inventory is valued greater than probably what would be on your credit card. And then you can add those two together and then know from your profits to kind of get a ballpark balance sheet of like how much total money you've made and like where your current assets and debts line up. So the one final thing is that um, I made this switch a long time ago, and it's also easier for the bookkeeper, which means you guys save money, is that instead of making every single item that great or detail, what we're actually going to do is just basically take um, like the standard name for the shoe. So for instance, this is the Nike Women's Free RN 2018 black weight size 7D. Granted, every shoe, color, size sells for like a little bit more, a little bit less money, but in reality, all we really care about is that this is a Nike Free RN 2018. So when you're looking at your Nike receipt and there's 30 different like SKUs on there, in reality, it's probably only really a couple. And so if you do it this way, it'll save the bookkeeper a bunch of time. It also helps just because names on Amazon get changed by other people. So if you put the exact same name, half the time the name changes and you kind of get a little screwed over anyways. So the optimal way to be entering all your data from now on is just say just calling this a Nike FreeRN 2018. So if you do that, it'll save you tons of time entering because you can basically just copy and paste over and over again and the bookkeeper time too, because she'll know based on looking at it, okay, that's a Nike FreeRN 2018. I'll just go find the last first purchase one and pull that. So I'm just going to go down and hit basically make these all the same. So you do need to make sure that there is a line item for every single shoe you purchased. So there's nowhere to put like item quantity 10, and we're doing that for now just because it keeps things simpler till everyone moves on to like a superior bookkeeping system. So as you can see, I got 10 units here, Nike FreeRN 2018, so current value that. And so what's going to happen is that the bookkeeper will be running your monthly sales report. So say I bought these today, and say if I send them all in and I sell one, I guess probably let's go March 20th. So the bookkeeper will generate your sales report, which will have sales and costs. So the bookkeeper will go to your March tab, and when she sees a sale of a FreeRN 2018, she'll actually go back to inventory, take the first one on the list because we're doing first in, first out bookkeeping method. Go back to March, copy that in. So if it's sold on March 20th, she'll put 3/20/19 and say it sold for $60. Amazon fees would, I'm just ballparking this, say $7. Other fees are usually zero, but occasionally there are some. So this auto calculates your sales price post fees, then your item profit, which is just sale price post fees minus your cost. So that all gets auto calculated. It also goes into your monthly P&L where you can see your sales equal this sale price. So this will automatically sum up all of your sales. Here is just the math of the profit divided by the sale price, which is different than ROI, which we normally talk about, and it will always be a little bit less as a percent because taking your profit as a percentage of your sales as opposed to your cost, doing your ROI on your cost always is like a bigger chunk, but that is the method we prefer. So also cost of goods sold, these are all things that the bookkeeper will be pulling from your Amazon store, manually entering in for you. These expenses in green are things you'll have to put in. Be Cool Inventory Lab are always the same price. Office supplies is just the boxes you purchased, some paper, toner, a printer, whatever. Travel expenses, I mean, you probably won't be doing much, but it's like if you rented a U-Haul, for instance, or you rented a car, not that important, but it's in there just in case. Bank fees shouldn't really happen, but occasionally if you get like the bank just hits you with like a $3 fee for some reason, that's in there, and then miscellaneous fees. Obviously, anything outside those standard ones, we just have a catch-all. And then this is our consulting fee. That's just a percent of profits after all these other expenses. So after your one sale, you've made $10. And then so eventually this will just get filled up with all your sales, and this will keep going. And once this number reaches high hundreds, low thousands is when we're going to want to try to maybe make the transition to QuickBooks. So for every single month, if you look at the bottom, you'll have your own like monthly profit and loss sheet. So then at the end, there's the year-end P&L, which is already kind of pre-calculated. So it pulls your sales from that month. It's pretty much just compiling every single one of your months onto one master sheet that you can look at, so you can track your hopeful sales growth, profit growth, kind of keeping track of all your fees to make sure none of those are getting out of control, and then your actual net profit at year end or month end to then year end. So this is the system we're going to use for at least the first couple months, depending on how your like revenue and profits are, because Like I said, long term switching to QuickBooks Online and this software called EntryWise. It's what I use. Long term, you'll save a boatload of money on bookkeeping, which ends up being significant once you start selling 10, 20, 30, 40 units a day. If you multiply it by 30, you're looking at 300 to like 1,000 units of sales, which is a lot of manual copy and pasting and typing. So the automation software probably cuts that down by at least 50%, probably even more. And also just QuickBooks is just real business bookkeeping. And while this is real as well, it just doesn't have the tools that QuickBooks has to really like dig a little bit deeper into the numbers and just get a better view of where things are. So for now, this is the free solution that will enable you to see that you're making money, see like sales growth, revenue growth, booking the profits, and then once you can see that consistently for a couple months, doing the switch over to QuickBooks Online and EntryWise will be what we're highly recommending because everyone's going to have lower costs at that point, which means everyone makes more money. More money you can save, the more you can reinvest to make even more money down line, and that's what we're trying to do. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.